just because I think 270 laps is too many laps on them tires.
I can't even get him to talk to him. I call him and see him.
That's right.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pittsylvania County Fire and Rescue Commission, Thursday, June 15th, 2023, 6:30 p.m., 39 Bank Street, Chatham, Virginia, 24531. We'll call the meeting to order. Roll call vote, please.
James Holly. Here. Ben Meeks.
Here.
Alan Casper.
Here.
Ward Rowland. Tim Cassell. Brian Shields.
Here.
Kermit King.
Here.
Steve Stallings.
Here.
Coleman Mayhew.
Here.
Bert Sellers.
Here. All right, thank you, gentlemen. All right, we're going to observe a moment of silence. All right, thank you, gentlemen. If you would, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. It's going to bring us down to additions or revisions to the agenda. Take a moment and look at your agenda. And I'll ask, is there any additions to the agenda? I would like to add under 13F, new business, a discussion of reappointment of a Pittsylvania County Fire and Rescue Memorial Committee. Any other additions or revisions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the changes to the agenda. I got a motion by Tim. Do I got a second? Second by Mr. Holly. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
James Holly.
Yes.
Ben Meeks.
Yes.
Alan Casper.
Yes.
Ward Rowland. Tim Cassell. Brian Shields. Kermit King.
Yes.
Steve Stallings.
Yes.
Coleman Mayhew.
Yes.
Bert Sellers.
Yes. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Now I just need a motion to accept the agenda as it's presented.
So moved.
All right, got a motion, Mr. Sellers, second by Commissioner Casper. Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
James Holly. Ben Meeks.
Yes.
Alan Casper.
Yes.
Ward Rowland. Tim Cassell. Brian Shields.
Yes.
Kermit King.
Yes.
Steve Stallings.
Yes.
Coleman Mayhew.
Yes.
Bert Sellers.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen, we did not have a meeting last month, but we did in April. So if you would take a moment to look at your minutes from April, and then we'll obtain a motion to accept those or make revisions as needed. All right, I'll accept a motion to accept this agenda, accept the minutes from April.
So moved.
Got a motion by Vice Chair. Do I hear a second? Second by Mr. Holly. Any discussion on the motion? If not, call a roll.
James Holly,
Yes.
Ben Meeks,
Yes.
Alan Casper,
Yes.
Ward Rowland, Tim Cassell, Brian Shields,
Yes.
Kermit King,
Yes.
Steve Stallings,
Yes.
Coleman Mayhew,
Yes.
Bert Sellers.
Yes.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Brings us down to hearing of the citizens. Each person addressing the board under hearing of the citizens shall be a resident or landowner of the county or the registered agent of such resident or landowner. Each person shall step up, give his or her name and the district in the audible tone of voice for the record, and unless further time is granted by the chairman, shall limit his or her address to 3 minutes. No person shall be permitted to address the board more than once during hearing of the citizens. All remarks shall be addressed to the board as a body and not to any individual member thereof. Hearing of the citizens shall last for a maximum of 45 minutes. Any individual that is signed up to speak during said section who does not get the opportunity to do so because of the aforementioned time limit shall be given speaking priority at the next board meeting. Absent chairman's approval, no person shall be able to speak who has not signed up. Director, do we have anybody signed up to speak?
Yes, sir. We have one speaker. Mr. Nolan has signed up to speak.
Oh, I skipped the presentations. I apologize. I was just told I skipped presentations. Do we have any presentations?
No, sir.
All right. Now hearing of the citizens.
Yes, sir.
All
Mr.
right,
Nolan.
come
has
on up,
signed
Mr. Nolan. You can tell I'm tired tonight. Thank you for being here, Chief.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman and honorable members of the commission, my name is Spencer Nolan Sr. On May the 9th, several agencies in Pennsylvania County Emergency Medical Services agencies received notification that evening that the operational medical doctor was going to be resigning and gave a 2 months notice. We received that late in the evening. Immediately following, on May the 10th, we had a emergency call meeting of all the affected agencies to meet to discuss the issue. We had the agency heads, folks from the state, folks from the regional EMS council. An operational medical director is a physician that an emergency medical services agency basically operates under. That's how we're able to deliver treatment, medications, invasive techniques, and the like. And you're required to have one under the Code of Virginia. That night, a committee was established with myself, Chief Tommy Barber from Mount Hermon Fire and Rescue, Captain Karen Shelton from Cascade Fire and Rescue. Immediately started meeting, found a physician that was willing to serve in that role, that had compensation requirements. We started working with county administration and the Board of Supervisors. There was a called meeting where the compensation requirements were discussed, and unfortunately, they were not able to come up with they weren't able to fund the request. Immediately after that, the committee got back together. We identified another physician. This physician has indicated a willingness to take the agencies over. He's also indicated an interest in finding a more permanent physician, as he is part of a medical faculty. He is already in our West Virginia EMS Council. He's familiar with our current protocols, how the lay of the land works, so to speak, and what our pre-hospital how we do things here in this council. And he's been around a while. The agencies, there were 8 of them. One early on did not participate with the meetings and went with another OMD. 2 more have since found another OMD on their own, so we got 5 left. And those agencies are invited this coming Monday, the 19th. We'll be leaving Danville and traveling to go meet this gentleman and sign the paperwork for him to take over as leader of these agencies. This has required a lot of time, a lot of man hours, a lot of stress. I think in 32 years of volunteer service, I cannot remember a more stressful time that's come along than have to deal with this. It's a serious issue. If you don't have an OMD, you cannot operate to ride emergency calls. That's per the Virginia Office of EMS. I'd like to thank Supervisor Vic Ingram and Supervisor, Mr. Chairman Dalton, for their unwavering support of this committee and all the other chiefs that have helped along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other citizens signed up?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. Moving down to Fire and Rescue Association reports, Chief Fowler.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Moving down to county staff reports, Director Scott.
All right, we got a few things we can discuss. I'm taking Chris's place tonight. He had a new grandbaby last night late, so Chris is going to see his grandbaby this evening. But we don't have a lot to discuss. The first thing, the ATL funding, that's available for the agencies. You know, of course, turn in your receipts for the reimbursements, and if funds can carry over but must be used on fire apparatus purchases. The EMS inspections has been completed throughout the county. Need the rosters turned in from every department for 2023. I think Chris said he has 8 so far. So if you haven't turned your rosters in for the year, you know, get them into Chris as quick as you can. Mutual aid, we have no updates on that. Training, we got a reminder of the active shooter exercise on July 31st, 2023 at Gretna Middle School. Anyone willing to participate, please let Chris know. And they're looking for people to participate and help with this. I feel like this is going to be very beneficial for everybody involved. You know, I hate to even discuss it, but it's certainly something we need to prepare ourselves, because you never know these days. Risk reduction. On Friday, June 23rd, 2023, a rep from VFIS Insurance was here to conduct is coming to conduct a risk control survey, and he will visit the following stations: Chatham Fire Department, Blair's Fire and Rescue, Tunstall Fire and Rescue, and Mount Cross Fire Department. He will then return a report of his findings with recommendations for improvement within the next couple weeks. And again, that's Friday, June the 23rd. And I'll get with these guys, and we'll get together maybe next week and work on getting our ducks in a row, make sure we got everything like we need. One thing I'm going to add is, you know, be thinking about your first responders and stuff, especially the wrecks we've had on 29 here in the last month or two. Had another terrible wreck on 29 in Whittles this morning. A little young lady lost her life. That's hard on the first responders. That's hard on everybody. And you know, and I'd hate to even think about her parents. You know, that's just devastation. But keep all them folks in your thoughts, okay? And that's all I've got.
Thank you, Scott. Just for clarification, on the ATL funding, that's due this month, correct? Or you got to at least let the county know that you're going to carry your money for apparatus. How many agencies has not turned in their ATL funding?
I don't know. He don't have it listed right here.
Okay. Chief Fowler, can you try to let them know? Do you have another meeting before the end of the month?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. The other thing is rosters. Please get your rosters in. And then the middle school active shooter, I know that that's been a pretty big planned deal. State reps coming in. Just one more time, what was the dates and who do we contact if we want to participate?
Okay, the active shooter is going to be on July 31st, 2023 at Gretna Middle School. And if you want to participate, let Chris Key know. Just send him an email or call him, and let's say, Ben, you got 5 or 6 people that you want to send in an ambulance or 2. Just let Chris know, and because I think they want to get, a good group of people there to help with it and learn from it.
And they're looking for EMS and fire, correct? Is it both?
I know EMS. I'm not too sure on the fire side.
Okay.
That's something I'd have to ask and see.
Okay, but this is countywide. So.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, thank you. And just one last comment, the VIS risk reduction, I think their plan is to do that every year, because I know they got us last year. and it's nothing major. They just come in, take a look, and give you ideas of what you
That's
can do
right.
better.
He don't,
So-
you don't get in no trouble for anything, but he'll send you a notification, and one thing is like your hose beds on your trucks and your crosslays, keeping them covered so your hose can't come out and go bouncing down the road and hitting somebody, things like that, smoke
Yep.
alarms, just like a safety inspection, more or less.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that. Any questions for the director? If not, moving on. Unfinished business. Any unfinished business from the commission? Any update from the committee, vice chair, the insurance committee?
No, not at this time.
Okay, all right. All right, any other unfinished business? We'll move on to new business. Hearing none, we're going to move to new business. 13A, Board of Supervisors Communications, Mr. Vic Ingram.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess first and foremost, let me thank you guys for what you do. It's quite a sacrifice. And as far as the volunteers, I'm speechless with what you guys do to look after us. Very grateful for that. But I have to highlight Mr. Spencer Nolan because on the night of that meeting at the Bachelors Hall Fire Department, I'd been over here to the Law Enforcement Memorial Service and was late getting over there, but they had accomplished much once I got there. And to realize that we have 8 departments that would, in essence, be out of business if we didn't have the OMD, that was quite a bit to be worried about. And as Spencer said, it's very stressful, and I know he's put a lot into it, and it's probably aged him a bit, but he's done good. So anyway, at that point, we struggle with how we resolve this problem. And I'm going to spare you of all the gory details, but Mr. Terrell and myself met with Steve Heatherly, the CEO at SOVA, and I carried through with the suggestion that I made at that meeting that night is possibly have SOVA help us with a OMD, somebody on their payroll. And I got the response that I expected, is that everything has to be approved through their corporate headquarters and through their legal department, their team of lawyers. But he's looking at that. And so having said that, moving forward, I would love to see us have one OMD and a backup for the entire county to where we'd never have to go through this again. Some of you may be in favor and you may be against it, but I'd like to have that discussion with you moving forward. But I didn't realize Spencer had done such a good job, and I was prepared to come in here to tell you that I had talked with Dr., I keep forgetting his name pronunciation, Lindbeck. He is Virginia's state EMS director, and there had been some correspondence, but I talked to him in person today. He was out in Reno, Nevada, and he said, listen, he said, I will fill the gap for you guys for 60 days and possibly extend it another couple of weeks or another 30 days if you can't make it work. He said, but as a state policy that we would not let your departments fall by the wayside to where you couldn't run the calls, which means you couldn't serve citizens. So that was really good to hear. Really nice guy, and like I said, he volunteered to help us 60 days without cost, and very grateful for that. But Spencer, I just have to tell you how grateful I am that you've worked this out. But we're still going to work on a permanent solution for the future. So that will be an ongoing project. But again, just thank everybody that had any involvement in this. And I think all the departments as it stands right now are covered. But if something does happen, by all means, let me know. Dr. Linebeck is in the wings to take care of that. Apart from that, just again, thank you guys. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
While we're still at you, Vic, I am going to throw a question at you. The county budget, has that been approved and everything put through?
Yes, sir, it has.
Okay.
You know, it's often a wish list by a lot of people. I was not on that committee, but I did meet with Kim Vanderhyde, and I looked at it. And you know, the biggest thing that I can tell you is that it is balanced and there's no tax increase. But moving forward, going into next year, I think we could still do better. So let me just say that, and I'll be working with you guys in regards to that statement. Thank you.
We appreciate that. All right, item B, 13B, new business, Campbell County mutual aid agreements. I'll take lead on this one. So, we've talked about mutual aid agreements a lot over the last 6 to 8 months, and it seems to be there's just no movement. I know agreements have been sent from our public safety department on behalf of the county and its agencies within, and I've had some complaints or comments made to me from members of public safety, from the Medic One truck specifically, and my truck there in Gretna from my providers. We will go into Alta Vista or across the Campbell County line to assist Campbell County when they're taxed for trucks being out of service on other calls. In fact, an example, a couple weeks ago, Medic One was in, I think it was 14th Street, Alta Vista, for a nosebleed. The problem with that is, but yet they don't return the favor. If we have Medic One on a call and my truck is on a call, then with the exception of going all the way up to Cool Branch to the Franklin County line, there's not another ambulance till you get down here to 57 for the entire north end of Pittsylvania County. And so the concern there to me is if they're not going to be willing to respond into Pittsylvania County to assist us when we are taxed. Example, if Medic One was at that call for the nosebleed, again, I'm not saying that's not an emergency, but for a nosebleed, and a call comes out in Medic One's area in Grit, my truck's got to respond 25 to 30 minutes now to get to that location. And then what if a heart attack comes out in Brights? Now Medic 2's got to go 30 minutes to Brights, and now we've taken every truck, so now the south end's going to have to start moving north, and, not trying to go backwards, but, talking about resources, God, I hope we don't lose any agencies because we don't have enough resources for sure. So we couldn't get ALS this morning. My concern is when are we going to draw a line and tell Campbell County, look, you either sign the new mutual aid agreement to not when we get in a bind that you will assist us up there on the north end of the county. We'll send in a medic truck into the county, and we'll continue to do the same for you, which is what we're already doing. Or do we just draw the line and say, until that's completed, we're just not going to respond into Campbell County anymore unless it's an MCI situation, a situation, deemed, whatever that be. Because I think that's, Scott, Casey, is that kind of how it is now? Is if it's from what we've been told, if it's an MCI situation, they'll send a truck, but other than that, they don't send a truck out of county, but we go to their county. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah, we go to their county occasionally, and we have called them, and they said they didn't have a truck available. I think they've been to our county maybe once or twice. That's a touchy situation. It's a nosebleed. Yeah, we don't know. That might not be too serious, but they call us a lot, chest pains or something like that, and you hesitate to stand down on it because somebody just across the river needs help. So that's a dilemma we in, and we just got to try to see if we can't push it through and get some kind of agreement done.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, but the same comments to that is, we don't have the resources they have. They have a lot smaller county with the same population we do, and our resources, and I'm speaking for the north end now of the county, is far and in between. It's far and few. Medic One a lot of times ends up on a call, and if they're in Campbell County for an EMS call, not saying that individual's emergency is less important than a Pittsylvania County citizen's emergency, but I guess as far as the obligation to take care of our citizens, I guess it just needs, I don't know if who or what needs to happen to maybe push that idea through a little bit more to them to let's work together instead of us seemingly going over there and they're not returning the favor. Yes, sir, Chief Fowler.
Mr. Chairman, want to volunteer fire respond into Pennsylvania County with you all?
Yes, Alta Vista Fire responds into the county.
So this is not a countywide issue. This is a paid EMS side for the county that's not coming, correct?
Yes.
Would that not be an issue that maybe you all need to refer to the Board of Supervisors to work with Campbell County supervisors to see if they could work on that.
So I thought we had kind of did that, but I totally agree with you. Yeah, the Alta Vista Fire Department, yeah, let me fix what I said. Thank you for that. The fire departments in Campbell County, even Evanston, they will respond to Pittsylvania County if requested every time, as long as they're not on a call. It's the EMS, and just so the commissioners understand, there is only public safety, county-provided public safety staff in the Alta Vista area that borders to our county. So there is no volunteers there. So yes, I think, if our Board of Supervisors could talk to them and try to get a little bit more help just when we're in a situation. Again, I'm not asking them to be a first due agency in our county, but scratch our back when we scratch theirs a little bit. So, and I'll be glad to put that into a motion. Again, I think we've done this, but I'll be glad to make a motion that we ask our representative, Mr. Ingram, to take it to the board to discuss with Campbell County's board in making that a reality.
I'll second that.
All right, second by Alan Casper. Any discussion on the motion?
Well, it looks kind of like to me that they're taking the taxpayer approach. For as all they have is, public safety. Public safety is based on taxpayer, to operate. So it looks like to me that Campbell County is saying, well, Pennsylvania County don't pay any taxes toward our public safety, so we're not going. Kind of what it looks like to me here, they just keep going around and around and around it, but it looks like they just responding to their taxpayers in their county. I don't know whether that's appropriate or not, but
Yeah, and again, I'm not trying to cause a issue between counties, because I've got a lot of friends over there that are in fire and rescue, but I just don't think it's fair. I see it probably more than anybody else in the county just because of where I live and the department I run, and knowing, 3/4 of the members that work at public safety on Medical One are members of my department. They talk about it, where is the line of being fair? And I know that's, sometimes the world's not fair, but if we're being fair, they need to be fair.
yeah, because we're not doing our taxpayers right either. We over there, and we have to send them a long response.
Yeah.
To, because you guys are helping them out in
Yeah.
good faith, and then we have to send another agency to help our taxpayers out.
Right. Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
James Holly,
Yes.
Ben Meeks,
Yes.
Alan Casper,
Yes.
Ward Rowland, Tim Cassell, Brian Shields,
Yes.
Kermit King,
Yes.
Steve Stallings,
Yes.
Coleman Mayhew,
Yes.
Bert Sellers,
Yes.
All right, thank you. Motion carries. All right, that brings us down to county fire and EMS billing rates. Chief Fowler.
I think maybe this is a little bit misleading. Our EMS billing rates are set for another year. We were looking at fire, and the committee's been working with some of the insurance carriers to educate themselves a little more. So we're going to have to give them some more time to actually get that information
Okay.
to be able to bring back a report.
Okay. All right, thank you, Chief Fowler. I will state on that, check into it, but I think it's going to have to be a change or an update to the county ordinance.
I think the ordinance is there. I think it's what they found out through the county attorney. I think the ordinance is there. The rates are just not
Okay.
in that ordinance. So that's what the Board of Supervisors will have to update.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. All right, brings us down to 13D, budget review. And I was going to yield my time to Mr. Terrell, but he wasn't able to make it. So, and Mr. Ingram, do you have anything you want to add to the budget review?
No, sir, not that I can think of.
Okay. Any questions for Vic on the budget? I think if you stand, tell me if I'm incorrect, but I think all the lines stayed the same as last year's
Yes, sir.
budget. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So all fire and EMS money stayed the same as last year's, just so the commissioners know. Okay. All right, that brings us down to 13F, OMD discussion. So Is there any discussion further on the OMD situation from the commissioners? I think it's pretty well clear from what Mr. Ingram and what Chief Nolan told us earlier. It looks like this situation is going to be corrected and taken care of. So we appreciate y'all's work in doing that. And if this commission can be any assistance, just let us know.
I did want to add, just so you guys would know, that the state director did tell me that they have a state policy that says they will not let any agency fall. And that was good to hear, because that was one of the biggest concerns that we had, is that if the department didn't have an OMD to sign off, that department would have to, turn out the lights and shut the door. The state will not let that happen. But on the other hand, they do want to encourage us to do what we're doing, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank y'all for that.
Yes, sir.
Well, they may say that, but that's exactly what the state did with Alta Vista.
Yep.
That's over in Campbell County.
Yeah.
Yes, but same state.
Yeah, I think that applies when there's not resources to cover the locality, that the EMS is not going to be provided to the citizens. That's when they will pick it up, which we do not have the resources. So I'm glad that we've got this straight and these agencies are going to be taken on and we can continue as normal. So, any further discussion? All right, moving on to item E. Fire and Rescue Memorial Committee. So a lot of work over the last year went into the Fire and Rescue Memorial. We just kept hitting road bumps of finding suitable locations. We have some money that's been already donated by Mr. Ingram himself, which we're running out of time, I believe, on his cashier's check.
We're good on that.
Yeah.
I did check with the bank. We're good on
Okay.
that, so you hang on to it.
Yeah, and that, I don't want to lose the ground we had, but we just kind of was in a stall mode. So I talked to Mr. Ingram. He was involved with the Sheriff's Memorial on that committee when they built it. So he's got more knowledge about it, obviously, than anybody else probably that was on my committee. So I'm going to ask him to chair the Fire and Rescue Memorial Committee. And if you would like to add to your committee whoever you would want to add to it as far as bodies or how you want to run it, I'll pass everything I have to you because I'd like to see that continue.
I certainly appreciate that, and I'll be glad to take that task on. It's very sacred ground,
Yes.
needless to say. So if you'd give me some time, let me think about, pray about the committee itself and the structure. I'll report back to you, and we'll go from there.
Okay. And if you would, just consider the Fire and Rescue Association as well. I know we tried to have a couple volunteers as far as from the agencies themselves. I think Mr. Troy Tyler would be, obviously, since one of the fatalities was from his department, that would be the, a correct thing to have him on there. But
Yeah.
you just think about it and bring it back to us.
Well, he was the first person I thought that I would love to have on this
So,
committee. For
there you go,
obvious
Troy.
reasons. But I'll report back to you on that.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other matters from the commission members? We're going to start. So we'll go to my left side over here. Well, actually, we'll start with Scott. Scott, you got anything?
No, sir, I'm good.
All right. Casey? All right. Mr. Rowland? All right. Tim?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Mr. Nolan for all of his work that he's done on this OMD situation. I get about 10 phone calls a day from Mr. Nolan. What do you think about this? Here's where we're at, this, that, and the other. And I'm going to tell you right now, without him, we wouldn't be where we're at now.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Coleman Mayhew?
I'd just like to say thank you to everybody for your time and service. It's really important to the county to be able to reach out and provide the emergency services to them, and we're very grateful.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Brian Shields?
Chief Nolan, thank you to you, the committee, and to everyone that was involved in the OMD, to the supervisors that worked, and all the behind-the-scene people that have spent a lot of time on this. It's greatly appreciated. And to the men and women that serve every day, to the volunteers, to the paid staff, to all of you. I see it a lot when I go up and down the highways, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll come back to you, Vice Chair. Chief Fowler, anything?
I'd just like to extend a thank you to the citizens of Pittsylvania County. I know a lot of us are doing donation letters and fundraisers at this time, and they come out and keep us afloat. As Mr. Ingram said, the budget is pretty much exactly what it was last year. I don't know where y'all shop at, but groceries is more expensive, fuel's more expensive, ambulances are more expensive, fire trucks are more expensive, and everything between. And the only thing that's keeping us afloat now is the generosity of the community buying raffle tickets. I know people see me coming and they run out the other door because they know I'm fixing to hit them up to buy a ticket. But I don't think we say thank you enough to them, and we need to extend that. I see Mr. Sellers up there laughing. I know every time he sees me, he knows what's coming.
I was pointing the mic.
But at the end of the day, to the citizens, thank you so much for keeping us afloat.
Thank you, Chief Fowler. Mr. Vic Ingram.
Mr. Chairman, once again, just thank you guys so much for what you do. And, you know, I think about where we would be if we didn't have the volunteers that we have, male and female alike. So I'm very grateful for that. You just can't say it enough. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Holly.
I too would like to thank Mr. Nolan, all the folks that was on his committee. Definitely without OMD, this county's hurt. So thank you for all the work y'all put in on it. Thank you to all the volunteers and paid staff. And thank you to all fire and rescue.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Casper.
I'd like to just echo the words of a lot of the commissioners up here and thanking Spencer for his diligent work to provide continued service to the citizens of Pittsylvania County. That's why we're here. And Spencer and I go back 3 decades of volunteer services here in this county, working together. And I also would like to thank him for standing up here and speaking tonight. Since I've been on the commission, that's the first person that has stood up and spoke to this commission from hearing of the citizens. So anybody watching this, streaming, whatever, I encourage you, take an active part, come to these meetings, address the commission. We want your input because that's why we're here.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sellers.
Okay, I would like to thank Mr. Fox for being here. He's a candidate for the Board of Supervisors, and I'm not in no way endorsing him or not endorsing him, but I do thank him for taking his time out and coming to see what our committee is all about. I wish more of the candidates would come, potential candidates and current candidates or current supervisors. It's always good. We need your support if you do get on the Board of Supervisors, just as we need it from anybody else that gets on the Board of Supervisors. So thank you for coming tonight. And for the record, I just met him tonight, so, you know, I'm not here campaigning or endorsing. I'm here thanking him for being here.
Appreciate it, Bert. All right, Mr. Stallings.
I just want to say it's an honor to be on this commission, and it's always pretty eye-opening to me to see that the time and the energy that these guys put into these committees. And you don't really know what's going on sometimes till you get to this meeting and you hear about the time and the hours and maybe the emergency committee that they set up just to handle something that popped up. So it's pretty impressive to see that, and it's again an honor to be on this committee and to see all that going down. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Vice Chair.
Yes, I said pretty much I agree with most everything that's been said here tonight. But also to Spencer, thank you. Board of Supervisors member, Mr. Ingram, thank you for your work. Like I said, Mr. Fox, thank you for coming. But like I said, all the good stuff has been said already, and I agree with all of it. And but I will let you in on this, Dean. When he sees, I've been his ear pretty regular too. So I appreciate you answering the phone when I call, and don't ignore me. But I've been his ear pretty much during the day, during a weekly basis. So, but it takes it all to make a wheel turn. So you know, like I said, volunteers, thank you to to all the volunteers that do a good job for us.
Thank you, sir. And that just leaves me, I'll try to make it quick. So starting off, I just want to give a quick update. J.D. Brown's, the commissioner that just left our commission, his son is out of the hospital and is home. He's still got a long road ahead, but we raised just over $3,200 for him at our fundraiser, and we gave that to the family, and they were very thankful. They just said they could not thank everybody that donated and come out and supported. He's still got, as I said, a road ahead of him. He's still going to doctor's appointments in Roanoke, and he's going to Duke for his vocal cords, his voices, where he lost that, where he was intubated for so long. But they're hoping that's going to come back. He's still having some memory issues, but all in all, he's up and he's moving and can talk to you, so that's a blessing. So appreciate all the prayers for them. Next, I wanted to just reiterate what Chief Fowler said. Talking about the increases in the cost of stuff, I just really want to thank the communities that support these local volunteer departments. I know they already pay taxes, for the county and to support local government that they're required to, but they also come out and donate and support at these fundraisers and events. Every time I'm just amazed. I know in Gretna when we do a fish fry or a barbecue that we're doing this Saturday, it'll be 200 or 300 people that comes through. And we just really appreciate those folks. To put it into perspective, 4 years ago, I bought a leather Carnes helmet. It was $750. I bought it at the Chiefs show down at Virginia Beach. That same helmet today, they called me from Concord Fire and Safety, it was yesterday, and said, hey, we've got 10 of these helmets we'd like to offer to your department first at a really good discounted rate for $2,050 a piece, if y'all would like to, anybody's interested in buying one. So that just goes to show you a helmet. Again, it's a leather helmet. You don't have to have that. That's some of the guys like to wear those, but that's the difference. $2,050, 4 years ago, $750. I had opportunity to go up to South Hill Fire Department recently and meet with the chief up there and talk to him. And, he was talking to me about it. We need really good buy-in and cooperation from our leaderships in these departments and with our local government. So I encourage all agencies that are members of the Fire and Rescue Association, please attend those meetings. They're important. I know the last meeting, Dean said he only had 6 agencies there. They're important, guys. Be there and try to fix situations as they arise. And then the same thing as Commissioner Casper said, come to these meetings. Let us know, good, bad, or indifferent. Let us know where you stand. Same thing for the Board of Supervisor meetings. Those guys are elected to do a job. Show up and tell them how you feel. That's the only way we can change things or work on things. But also talking to that chief up at South Hill, going back real quick to the financial things, he's got a heavy rescue truck. Obviously, they run Interstate 85, 58, all those come through there, so they get a lot of wrecks every year. So they bought a true rescue truck, no water on it at all. The truck itself was just over $1 million. The equipment on it, and I will give it to him, he's got a nice rig. The equipment on it was a little over $1 million. So as the truck sat, it was $2 million. He said if we went and bought it again today, it would cost us probably $2.5 million just today, and they just got the truck in service. So that just goes to show you how fast this equipment's going up every 6 months. So we appreciate our citizens. We appreciate the board doing what they could. At least we didn't lose funding, so I'm glad that that stayed the same. Thank you, Mr. Fox, for being here again. We appreciate that. And also, just to close it out, two things. I want to thank Mr. Spencer Nolan. I know when all that first happened with the OMD situation, me and him talked within the first couple of days there. A lot of information being thrown out, some truths, some untruths, I don't know. Not my concern there. The concern I had was, are we going to be able to continue providing EMS service to the citizens of this county? And Spencer has bent over backwards to make sure that they have an OMD to continue that service. I know Vic, I've talked to you several times. I talked to Chairman Dalton the other day. I know y'all have been concerned and doing some phone calls and talking. So everybody that was on that committee, everybody was involved with all of that. I'm glad we can hopefully move past, get everything signed, uploaded to the portals, and move on from this issue. Because we cannot run the calls in this county if we lose 8 agencies. Again, I reiterate, this morning we had a very unfortunate incident, but we had to page 3 agencies trying to find ALS. And one of those was our medic truck. They're having issues as well. They were BLS staffed. So, and I say medic truck as in the county staff. So we can't afford to lose anybody right now, anybody. So appreciate y'all taking that on. And last, I just wanted to reiterate what Scott said. We've had probably 5 or 6 wrecks in the last 35, 40 days in a stretch from Hurt to Chatham, that my department and other departments, Chatham and Hurt and other agencies has been on, Medic 1, that's either been fatalities or flyouts that resulted in a bad outcome. And that's tough, check on your members. And, I want to thank Scott, and me and him got together a couple weeks ago. We had a really bad call down on 29 where a gentleman was thrown out of his vehicle and the vehicle burned up. And it really was hard on the medic crew that was there from the county and from my department and the volunteer fire departments. So we got with, Tim Manis.
Tim and Damien.
Tim and Damien. They do a really, really good, not class, but program, debriefing.
Yeah. Just a little meeting. You just sit like sitting around that table right there. Just sit there and talk.
Yep.
And that was one of the best meetings that I think it done a lot of good, and that can be done for anybody in this county that needs it. We probably don't utilize it enough.
Yeah. So I just want to say thank you to Scott for lining that up. Thank you to Tim and Damien. Please take that back to them, Vice Chair. And they'll tell you, as long as you let them know when and where, they'll go anywhere in the county, and they'll sit down and do that. And I mean, I got a guy, he's been doing this 16 years, nothing bothers him. And I noticed something was different about him, and he told me, he said, I don't want to do this no more. I just don't want to do it right now. And we got to talking, and he was on that call. You never know. Your hardest, go-getter guys, still, they were humans, okay? So check on your people, and that meeting really helped him, and I think he's coming back around. So, we appreciate that. And the responders that went this morning, where the young lady lost her life on 29, very bad call. I just want to offer my condolences to the family, but also the first responders. I've already reached out to my members, and I know Chatham was there, and I think the Medic 2 went, and so we just make sure if they need anything, we'll help them. That's all I have. I appreciate all the commissioners and the volunteers, and if there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, got a motion and a second. Thank y'all.